I remembered the most important moment of my healing journey, and I wanted to share this with you. I had done so much in terms of reading books and spiritual texts and doing a yoga teacher training and meditating and doing gratitude practices. And I found myself in such a fearful, anxious place that was the culmination of a series of events, none of which from the outside looked terribly dramatic, but were a series of threads that had built up over my lifetime that were being shown to me. And I would often wake up at night and just a thought would drop in, and I would feel that sense of panic, and even more panic because, there's no way I'm going back to sleep after this flood of adrenaline is rushing through my body, and I'm just going to be awake, and then I'm going to go into the day tired, and that's going to make everything worse. And I would spiral. And I cannot recall specifically what I read or listened to that reminded me of this term of self-abandonment. I had heard it, I didn't quite understand what it meant. I wasn't embodying the opposite of self-abandonment, which is, some will call that reparenting as part of that process, or self-love, but all these terms sounded abstract. But in this particular night, when I was laying there and I had all these ways that I wish that I wish I was stronger, I wish I was less sensitive, I wish these things didn't bother me, I wish I was more fierce, more unbothered. And when these feelings would come up, I would be so disappointed in myself, like, why does this feel so challenging? And I had this awareness drop in that I needed to be okay with these feelings. I needed, and I got this very clear visual of wrapping my arms around myself and saying, it is okay to feel like this. I am not going to abandon myself on top of this and talk to myself like this mean, angry outer voice saying, you should be farther along, you should be healed enough to not hurt. I kept turning away from the hurt because I subconsciously believed that feeling that hurt was a failure. And in this moment, I felt for the first time what it felt like to be your own best friend, to be your parent that is looking at small child you in pain and saying, I've got you. I've got you. I know you're scared of what's going on. I know you're scared of this person, but I am the person that is always going to be here for you. And instead of trying to change those feelings or find a way to shift them or meditate out of them or talk myself out of them, instead I said, you're just gonna feel it. You are just going to feel it. And I pictured holding myself, and I do remember what led me to really realize this. This is ironic. I was reading the Sophia Code, and I'll drop a link to that book because it is really powerful when you're in the right place to read it. I don't recommend it to everybody because it might seem too poetic or esoteric or it might not land, but the chapter about Quan Yin, where she's reparenting herself, and there's like a kind of a meditation at the end, is more like a journey. And there's this scene where she's in a tree, like holding her child self. And something about that image, the way that it was explained in such a detail, the way it dropped into my DNA and recoded me, I could feel myself as the child and as the parent or the God or the lover holding that precious energy. And this necklace that I wear every day, pretty much, is the creator and author of that book, who channeled that book. She also creates this jewelry, and she has lines of jewelry for each of the ascended masters that she writes a chapter on in that book. And one of them was Quan Yin, and I was just really drawn to this necklace, even though I felt at the time that chapter maybe didn't particularly resonate. I really liked the Isis chapter and the Mary Magdalene chapter, but I was really drawn to this necklace. And now looking back, this is all about that moment and about compassion, but not just for others, compassion for yourself. Deep, deep compassion. I was so hard on my inner self in a way that I'm not with other people. I expected such perfection and such healing and competence, and just was not giving myself grace. And in that moment, it was the first time I really knew what that felt like. Not just as a concept. And the wave of comfort that washed over me when I told myself, we're gonna sit here and feel this, was the thing that loosened it. I want to plant a seed. This might not feel accessible, because surely I'd heard things like this before, but I want to plant a seed that this is possible. And that maybe next time you start feeling overwhelmed by your feelings, you don't try to turn away. You hold that visual of being the one to comfort yourself. And then you'll stop looking for it from other people, because we look for people to fill those gaps, to make the pain stop, to make it go away, to be our savior, when really that makes us vulnerable to other people having that power over us. And that's not about love. That's not about, I love this person so much, they're the one that can make the pain go away. That's about abandoning yourself and putting your power in someone else, when you're the one who's going to be with you through your whole life, through all the relationships, all the joy, all the sorrow. You're going to be the one at the end of your life and beyond. So I hope that this plants a seed that you start experimenting with, sitting with your feelings. And there's a lot of great content about that, about feeling your feelings out there. So that could be a search you do. How do I feel my feelings? Because I didn't even know what that meant. I really didn't. I didn't realize how much I didn't know what that meant. In that moment, it finally landed. And I still need to practice and remind myself. But when I feel that sadness, and I would go back to my predisposition of abandonment, now I know, tune in and feel it. I'd love to hear your thoughts.